I have a video for you guys. I did not talk to the seller about this, like I said on my other video. But the TL double din, this is not it, by the way. This is it. It's all the way in there. Tesla style TL double din. And we're gonna be installing it today. This, I hate this. I hate this with a passion. First of all, it doesn't fit very well. It's so ugly. And secondly, I just don't like the fact that it's got this stereo that doesn't do anything now, and this one that plays music. This is obviously the AC controllers, which this one already comes with. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just start clipping, unclipping the gray plastic. I'm gonna need a little bit of tools, but this is the Aspec 6-speed Acura TL, and this is all the wires. And this is the deck itself. You guys will be able to see it is a Tesla style because it's a 10-inch standing up, like so. And yeah, we'll be installing that guy. Right here is gonna be literally taking up this entire space. And then I'm gonna be showing you guys step by step, more or less, how to do this. All right, so I already took one. This one I was able to pry away with my hands, but this one's being a little bitch. So basically you wanna get your little pry tool, and doesn't really matter where you start, as long as you get it unhooked. See right here? It's probably easier from down here to start. And just kind of work your way up, really. You know, I feel like this is just not strong enough sometimes. Okay. Maybe if I started from over here. It doesn't feel like it's gonna snap. You're not doing it right because it's just not gonna come off any other way. Then you got your screws right here, holding this bitch in place. I'd assume that's holding it in place. But I feel like you're gonna also have to take off this top part. I have never done this TL, so I'm doing this based on, basically, from what I know. Yeah. Okay, so as you can see, I was able to pry that off with my hands. Then what you want to do is unplug the only thing holding this bitch in place, which is that. Actually, there's another one. And the emergency lights, you can probably get away with flipping it over. See, blue light. And then as you can see, that is a pain in the ass to get your hands in. You're gonna want to push in and pull it out. Put it aside. Worry about it later. What you want to worry about is getting the stereo out of here, which, like I said, is held in by Phillips heads. So you're going to want to take this off, which is your AC control, and then the stereo, which is aftermarket and not supposed to be like that. There's probably supposed to be like a cover, if I remember right, a cover in there. Probably not, I don't know. Not my forte, the TL, but there's a 8mm because these guys didn't put this in right. So I'm gonna need an 8mm ratchet because, as you can see, they threaded the living out of it. Oh no, it still can turn. Okay, never mind. Or a Phillips. Once you got that done, take it out. Should be able to be free. Something else is holding it in place. Alright, so whoever installed this stereo, I am currently about to square up with them because they did a horrible job. There are screws missing everywhere. And it's just not a fun time. Alright, so as you can see, this screw won't even come out. The washer's behind it. I don't know how the washer got behind there. But you have to take these screws out, then move these aside so that you can take these screws out, and as you can see, they broke it already. But this one was free floating, which is kind of concerning. But as you can see, the stereo can wiggle around in here, and now I just need to get it out of its place. So I'm just going to start unplugging the climate control one by one. Oh shoot, it's harder than it seems, because these clips don't normally get taken out and stuff. And I feel like the airbag, because the airbag is on the cluster, I feel like the airbag got triggered because one of these idiots didn't plug something back in, whoever did this stereo, because my brother bought it like that, and that's another concerning part. He doesn't have airbags. So now I just want to really just get this out. And from what I'm seeing is that it won't really come out this way if I don't take this off. So I'll be right back, because I already took off all the screws, as you can see, to be able to take this part off. But if I have to take off the seats to be able to wiggle all this out, that's gonna be, you know, just not gonna happen. So I'm going to look up a couple things on how to get this out of here. Feels like I can just pull out, but at the same time, okay, no I can. Okay, never mind. I should be able to just twist up and wiggle out of here. Yep, there we go. Wiggled it out. I would advise to not do that to find the correct methods to remove the stereo, because whoever installed this one ruined everything around it, and it's just gonna be a nightmare. So look up how to remove an Acura TL stereo, and then get back to this one, to the installation of this stereo. Alright, so I'm currently struck with another problem. Whoever installed this stereo wedged these wires in here. So I'm gonna make my life easier, and I'm gonna remove the climate control from the stereo. I already took off the right bracket. All you need is a Phillips head, from what it seems. I don't know if these are the stock ones or if they're not, but all you gotta do is remove 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws. They're all Phillips heads from the right and the left brackets, and you're probably gonna need them because I don't see any brackets on this guy. So remove the brackets. I'm gonna remove this from the stereo itself, and then I don't know if I'm gonna have to chop those wires or what, but they're wedged in there, so hopefully after I take off the climate control, it'll be easier to work back there. Unplugging all of the stereo accessories except for this one, because I guess it's connected into the stereo. See, 2 of these are wedged down there somehow, and gonna need to get them out. So I'm gonna take off the brackets right around here, and we're gonna continue with the video. And so I didn't want you guys to see me struggle with that, so I took it out finally, and now I gotta deal with all this crap because it looks like they chopped into the OEM harness somewhere, and now I'm gonna need to find out what they did exactly and how, because from the looks of it they did use bud connectors, which is good, but it looks like they tapped into the wrong one and they didn't need to tap into this one, and looks like they just fucked around with a bunch of these wires. For some reason it looks like they just, okay, let me see, let me show you guys. It looks like they might have messed with the stock wiring of the speakers just to bypass the stock amplifier, which is a pain in the ass to get to. So I'm just going to show you guys the process. I'll let my brother figure out everything else that these guys fucked up. I'm just gonna install it for him and just leave it at that. So I'm gonna keep going, and then I'm gonna show you guys how to actually connect the climate controls to the other stereo, and it's pretty simple. You just got to get these screws out, plop them in, but I'll get to that in a bit. I just got to get these wires all organized and stuff, and then we'll see what we do from there. Yeah, that's a auxiliary. So we'll see what everything does, and then I'll get back to you guys. Okay, so I got all those wires untangled. This one was just this exact same wire that they cut in 2 different places and realized that's not the wire that they needed. So they went ahead and put the remote wire for the aftermarket amplifier onto this one, and of course spliced it into that. So we're gonna splice it into the same exact wire. We're gonna remove this wire and we're gonna put it onto the other harness that we got, because this harness is not gonna work for the stereo that we have, simply because it's not the same stereo. It already comes with its own kit, so this is the one we're gonna use. These are all the wires we're gonna use, and this is what we're going to plug all this. As you can see, this is the climate controls. I'll plug all that into this wiring and we're gonna go from there, guys. Alright, so going back to the stock stereo, like I said, we're gonna need to remove these screws. Do not lose these guys. I'm keeping all my screws right here, and I'm basically just remembering where everything goes. Not really, well, a lot of this stuff was missing anyway, so I don't assume that he's gonna care. So all 3 screws are removed, and the only thing holding it in place is this little tape. So we're gonna try to wiggle it out of place. This little tape, as you can see, that's out. I'm gonna set it aside, and I'll show you guys where that goes in a little bit. But as you can see, there's a lot of wires and plugins and stuff. This is where all that stuff's gonna plug into, I'd assume. I just gotta remove the rest of this bracket because it is in my way. Oh no, it's magnetic. It's dropping all this stuff. Luckily, because it's magnetic, I can pick it back up. Continuing on, take these 2 screws off this bracket. As you can see, you will need to remove these brackets. I'm not sure if you're going to need to put them back on. We will see. We will hope that everything just goes right in, plops in place, and you know, we'll have a solid Tesla style Android double DIN for the Acura TL. This is an 04 A-Spec. You can see it's a 6-speed. So it's got the calipers and everything, so it's got the lips. So this is an A-Spec. Normally has the little badges everywhere. Alright, so 3 screws. Where would that screwdriver be now? Shit. Okay, found the screwdriver. Remove these 3 screws, take it out, and then we're going to instantly install it onto the other one, and that should be that. Okay, so skip to this part of the video. I'll probably see if I can do something to skip to this part of the video. So this is the installation guide. Sorry about the horrible deinstallation, but as you can see, it's a Tesla style. Don't worry, this is a screen protector. So this will be removed, and I am not going to remove it until it's fully installed. I might not even remove it at all. Who knows? We'll see. Just so that he can get his own screen protectors. So, like I said, you're going to plop it upside down, and you're going to put them where they go. They should only go one way. So this one is going to go on the side that we just took it off. So the left side. Yep, right there. And the one that we left on top, that's gonna go on the right side, which comes on being this one. And it's just gonna plop into place. And then it's got the same 3 screw pattern, and it's got the same plugins, as you can see. Plug it right into the stereo itself. This one we're gonna need the other adapter for, so we're not gonna plug that one in yet. And then we're going to use the same little felt tape to keep it in place. And then get our screws into place and just screw it in. That's all you gotta do. So, it actually looks really freaking clean. It's the exact same color. Wow, they got the sparkles on point. That is actually really cool. The plastic on this one, I'd say, matches perfectly. Like, it matches perfectly. Like, I can't really differentiate from this side. On this side, the sun's kind of shining on it, and I can kind of see the difference in the colors. But over here, it's a perfect match. Anyway, so everything, even the buttons down here, you can see some quick access buttons, the mic itself, the reset, and we're going to go back to the back of it. Just get the 3 screws in, and then we can get the accessories going, which are these over here. And I was right. There is no real, like, bracket support for this one. So it looks like you can't really use the stock brackets, but it doesn't come with a bracket kit, if that makes any sense. So these brackets are kind of useless, if that makes any sense, right now anyway. So you do want to take off this plastic, because this plastic doesn't really do anything aside from protect the thing, but when it gets hot, you're not going to want this. It's going to make your stereo smell bad. Take off this plastic piece. It's a plastic protector for the metals, really. That's all this is. Take it out. Alright, so as you can see, all this stuff, this one wires right into that one, so you don't even have to worry about this one. This one, it's going to come with the wires over here. We're going to get all these wires plugged in onto the car first, and then we're going to put the stereo in place. I can actually show you guys kind of what it will look like right here, because, oh, it actually has its own plastics. So you can see it has its own plastic things. So I'm assuming it just needs the stock clips, you know? It just needs the stock clips. So it just makes, so you're going to have a lot of extra hardware when you're done with this one. So you're going to have a lot of extra hardware when you're done with this stereo, because it doesn't utilize these at all. So I'd assume you just take the clips off of the old stereo. Fuck. So the climate control has the clips right here. We're going to grab that. We're going to take the clips off. Actually, it doesn't have any clip things like metal clips. So, oh wait, is this? No, this is just the felt. Okay, so I'm just going to put the felt, I guess, on it. And as you can see, this is the old climate control. There's a lot of inserts that are down here now, so we're all good. So I'm just going to throw that in the box that the other ones came in, and we're going to continue on. Alright, so as you can see, this harness looks like a mess. It's all connected together, so there's no real way of messing up. Everything is color coded. You can see gray to the gray one, the blue to the blue one, and the greens, obviously they're different sizes, so you can't mess these up. And then one of them's already plugged in. This one's gonna go straight to the deck, and as well as a lot of these other accessories go straight to the deck. And this one actually plugs into one of those and then back to the stereo, but we're gonna show you guys that in a bit. Of course, these are the accessories, so we're not gonna worry about those right now. I'm just gonna plug in this harness for you guys, and I'll show you guys what to do next. We'll go from there. Alright, so this one just goes in there, actually. So this white one and this green one kind of go together. I'm going to have it so that they kind of sit underneath right here, underneath the wires, so that they don't, you know, snag on anything or something. So once we plug in these green wires, which are all over here, I'm going to just set everything up. Like I said, and like I see, so these wires actually came connected together. They say aux in, and these ones say aux R, aux L, so I'm just going to leave those connected together. These ones are for audio out, and these were the audio cables that were for the amp. No, these are the ones for the amp. So these are the ones that are going to go into audio out if you want to plug in an amp. But you do want to do that because if you don't do that now, it's going to be a hassle to get all this shit out and then try to do it all over again. Now this one, I realized, does not have anything to plug it into. And a bunch of these wires over here don't have anywhere to go either, but these ones came in the car. I'm just going to put these to the side, really. I'm not going to mess with that. The only thing that I'm concerned about is which antenna to use, because as you guys can see, the kit comes with something else for the antenna. I just don't know if we're going to use this one, but this doesn't plug into anything. This kind of looks like the one that I had to use for my, I think this is for Sirius XM also, because the antennas for the Element, this was the exact same plug that I had to use to get an antenna because I didn't have one. So if your car does not have an antenna, well, here it is, and you plug it in right there. But if yours does have an antenna, I'd assume you'd use the stock one and not this aftermarket one, because it doesn't really have anywhere to plug into, so I don't know where it's going to get its signal from. Anyway, these wires, they're for the air vent right there, so you're not going to touch these at all yet until the stereo's in place. So I don't know if I told you guys there's no hardware, so you only get these 2 screw holes, and that's what holds this thing in place. And of course the AC unit that goes on top, just the vents, I guess that holds it in place. So I guess they made it simpler for us in a way. But as you can see, everything plugged in. Now we just got to plug everything in to itself. We don't have a backup camera, so I can't wire that up, and it's going to be a pain in the ass if he decides later that he wants one. But if you do have a stock camera, I don't know how that's going to go. So it's just good luck. Anyway, I'm going to continue on. I'm going to plug everything in, and I'm going to test the stereo right before I put everything in, because you always want to test it before everything goes back, because there's no going back. I will find a different place for the remote. I'm kind of almost tempted to put it into this wire, because this is the blue wire, which should be the remote wire. We'll just go from there. So this is kind of the moment of truth. I have everything hooked up aside from the GPS antenna. So I'll see if the vents kind of make a difference on the AC unit, but we'll get to that in a little bit. So far, I do not have power, but everything is plugged in. Let me see if I missed something. Okay, so I missed the most important wire, which is the black wire. This one right here, that goes into the stereo. So it's powering on now. And I will test everything, Bluetooth, everything else. So this is the boot up, because I know somebody likes the boot up times for these. It took a little bit, but we will get to that. So I'm only getting sound from one speaker. That probably has to do with all of these random wires everywhere, and the fact that the door speakers are separated from the car itself. So I don't know exactly what they did, because normally when you wire up the speakers to the harness, you got these going, but that's not the case at all here. It probably does have something to do with the remote power, so I'm going to try that really quick. I also do not have a radio signal. I tried both of the antennas, and I just don't have a signal. As you can see, that's where it's supposed to be. This is a station here that we have. I'm getting nothing but static. So I use the stock antenna, and you can kind of make out the song, but it's just horrible. So I'm going to go to a different station and see if that changes it. Alright, so let's try a different one. Okay, so the radio works, kind of, but not as good as I'd want it to be. So the radio works, I guess, now. Now it does, anyway. This is just, I'm about to square up with whoever fucking installed this stereo. I'm gonna tell my brother to legit tell me who he bought the car from, and I'm gonna ask them who installed the stereo. If it was them, I'm gonna knock them out, because they're making my job a lot harder than it needs to be, and I'm probably gonna have to tell them to take it to a professional. I do this for fun. This is not a fun day today. I'm only getting sound out of one speaker, and it's the weirdest thing ever, and I hate people who do that shit. Because just leave the stock wires, and you don't have to mess with anything. Leave the stock amp, you don't have to mess with anything. You just plug and play. You never have any issues. Now I gotta figure out what the hell they destroyed so that I can have sound now. Because currently, I don't have that. So yeah, that is what I am facing right now. If you guys have stock everything, you probably will not have this problem. And I hope you guys would have everything stock. sound wise. If you're doing this installation, of course you will have it stock. Normally turning on the car makes some kind of a difference, so we're gonna go ahead and try that. The car is now on, the stereo turned off, so it's probably gonna have to reset again. The lights work, which is cool. Turning on the lights makes a weird noise. Currently hate people, so I'm gonna figure this out and I'll get back to you guys. I'm sorry, this is a very different process. Okay, did not change the channel, so whatever, it's fine. But yeah, so I'll get back to you guys once I figure this out. Alright, so back to zero. I just kind of want to show you guys how the stereo would look and feel if everything was going good. I will make a follow-up video, probably not anytime soon, when my brother figures this shit out. I do want to try out the AC though. Okay, so these buttons aren't really lighting up, so that kind of concerns me, but I kind of feel like maybe if I go here. Okay. Not sure what it's doing, but turn it off, change it to dual. I think the lights are just out. Also an issue. But yeah, the stations change from here, broadband, you know, everything that a normal stereo would have. Then you're gonna go home, you have your quick home button, you got your car link, your aux, your video, your EQ, your gallery, and your set. You got your touch assist, your browser, your calculator, and of course your Google Play Store, and your steering wheel controls, which from the factory they already came pre-installed. Unlike the TSX, I had to mess with these. But for this one, surprisingly, it was just plug and play. And I kind of want to give these wires a purpose, not really for the buttons, but seeing how I can get the wires to like work. But we're gonna go ahead and go to Navi. We're gonna set it. Okay, we don't have a Navi, but if we did, it would probably be Google navigation, going back to home. So this is the stereo itself, and of course I am having issues with the sound, but that's besides the point. The stereo in and of itself, I assure you, is perfectly good. Turned off the car, but unfortunately, the person who installed the aftermarket stereo onto this car messed everything up. And of course, this is not how it's going to look. I hope you guys know that this is just kind of plopped into place. Like, it's not even on good. So it's not going to look like this either. It's going to look stock fitment. And it's starting to look like you will need the what's it called? The brackets, because if you do not put the brackets, they don't really have anywhere to go on. But instead of putting it onto the stereo, you're going to have to put it onto the car first and then figure out how you're going to put it onto the stereo. So they kind of go together, hand in hand. But as you can see, the fitment is pretty good. Obviously, you're spending about $600 on this, but you know, things would have gone better if everything was stock. Supposedly, according to my brother, those wires were not cut from the factory and they weren't messed with. But from what I'm seeing and from what I'm looking at is that they used those wires to kind of bypass everything, and the stock harness kind of doesn't even have the purple, the green, the gray, and the white, which comes up being all the speakers. So the stereo in and of itself, it's freaking cool. Like, I like it. I like it a lot. The only issue, I think they come with like preloaded videos. Yeah, so weird like K-pop things. Let's turn up the volume. Yeah, so they come with this preloaded video. Yeah, so you can go back to the clock. It's pretty cool. Yeah, so you can only go to the clock if you do that. Anyway, I think that is it for this video. I wish I could figure this out. As you guys can see, they did a lot of things to this car, and I am not an audio expert. I can only do the basic things for stereo and sound. I did do some custom things, but nothing crazy. Anyway, that's gonna be wrapping up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, despite this being a nightmare for me. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll make a follow-up video for sure. I'll probably not post this video until I can get this thing working. But for now, this is the best that I can get for the installation guide. But I hope to be able to figure this out myself and then get back to you guys, so that if you guys do have a car with similar chopped up wires, which I'd assume nobody really would, unless you have an aftermarket stereo yourself and you know what you did to it, because I don't know what they did to it. If I would have put the other stock stereo on, I would have known, hey, I cut this wire to make that one work, but I didn't. So I need to look into it, and I will get back to you guys as soon as I figure that out. But that's it for this stereo. That's it. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time.